What up, guys? The Bench Buddies are back with our Week 10 NFL preview and picks. As always, I have Ethan joining me, and co-hosting our video here, picking his NFL teams. But before we get into it, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. Gets to 200. We have climbed over the 150 mark finally, so we're getting there. But all you got to do is hit that subscribe button to be entered into our giveaway. But we got to talk about last week's games. And obviously I will start here with my big week going 12-1. Of course, my Packers, screw me over in the end, but I am the guy that took the Jets and I look like a genius. I have to make that known. So I think I kind of predicted it. It would be a low scoring, low 20s game, and it was even lower. And the Jets defense prevailed. But moving forward, obviously Buffalo has bigger issues.
Yep, and for my picks, Green Bay, they kind of screwed me over as well. A lot of people picked Green Bay in that game. Chicago, Miami, that was actually a really close one. Me and our last guest Jerry did a very good job, almost picking that game. And then obviously the Jets for you, that's a big pick. The Rams had it until that final drive, and then New Orleans, that was just a bad pick. All in all, it's not a good pick, but we learned.
Yep. And then there's Jerry stacking up with the guests so far this week. And of course, Cam Miggs is still on top. He has just dominated this show.
Yeah, we're gonna have to bring him back
in this year. So we might have to bring him back for redemption, see if he can beat his own record. But we have to get on some guests to join our show next week. We didn't find anyone for this week, didn't have time for it. But before we talk about all the picks this week, we got to talk about the teams on the bye. And Ethan, I'll let you go here first. Besides the Jets, being surprise team, what team do you think, could really squeak into the playoffs here or even win their division?
Well, one team that I think is going to win that division is the Baltimore Ravens in the AFC North. They played really good football the last 2 weeks, and they're finally showing that, their problem in the first few games was that fourth quarter. They always had some crazy turnovers, but the last 2 games, they looked really sharp heading into the bye, and I think they're going to be one of those teams.
Yeah, I agree. I think the big thing is the AFC East. A lot of people have been talking about that. Could all 4 teams make the playoffs in the AFC East? And right now, it's looking very promising due to those Patriots and their defense being the number 1 defense in the league right now through week 9. And if they can step that up, keep the same pace, and if Mac Jones can elevate his play a little bit, then this Patriots team, could be a scary team moving forward. But we got Thursday Night Football on Prime Video. The 4-5 Falcons going against the Panthers, and less than 14 days ago, these 2 teams battled it out in overtime. The Panthers should have walked away with a win, but unfortunately they did not. 2 missed field goals, and just for that reason, I got to go with the Falcons on the road here. They need a bounce back win for this week and to stay, atop, you could say, the NFC South.
Yeah, this is a close one for me. I was thinking Panthers at home, they could pull off an upset here, but I just think the Falcons, a more physical team, will take advantage of them on primetime and get the win.
And then moving over to Sunday, an early morning game, and it's a very good game. I think if you were going into the year, you would think that these 2 teams probably have opposite records as they stand right now. But here you got Seattle going to Germany, coming in hot against Tampa, who I'm not saying it's a must-win yet. Last week for sure was a must-win, but now that they're 4-5 here, it's a more comfortable setting. But I don't think that they're going to go to Germany and get that win. I think Brady is going to finish his career 0-1 in Germany. And Geno Smith is going to come out and have a big day, I think, against a defense, that has been exposed in recent weeks.
Yeah, I can see that, and I'm kind of cheering for it. I mean, I want the Seahawks to win, but, man, after that final drive that you just got to ask yourself, are they back? Like, can Tom Brady do what he's been doing? And the offense has not looked good at all throughout the first few weeks or first almost half of the season. But I think they're going to step it up, and they're going to win a close one just because they got Tom Brady.
Then moving over to the 1:00 games. Yes, I am taking the Vikings. I don't know if it's an upset pick because, how good these 2 teams have been. But I just think that Kirk Cousins will outplay Josh Allen in this game. And I know that's kind of a hot take right now. But I think it can happen just because TJ Hawkinson will be the key factor. And the Bills' linebacking core, Matt Milano, he was out last week. If he can play this week, then it might change a little bit. But they're hurting on defense, and I think Hawkinson is the middle of the field guy that opens it up for Justin Jefferson and Thielen on the outside. And if they can get Hawkinson going early and often, then it's going to be tough to slow down this Vikings offense. And that's my reason why I'm going with the Vikings.
Yeah, I can see that. I'm taking the Bills, though. I don't think they can lose another one here, especially at home. Haven't been playing the best of football. Now, this pick's subject to change if Josh Allen doesn't play, which he didn't practice today. He's nursing that UCL. If he does play, I'm going to take the Bills. I think they got to get back on track. They're still that team. They are really solid. And I think at home, they're just going to get it done over Kirk Cousins, who can – I'm expecting to shrink a little bit in this game.
And then you got a battle for the Lions, who are only 2 games back of a wild card. And then you got Chicago, who's 1.5 back of a wild card. So this game does matter, even though those records don't look too good. But I'm going with the Bears here just because Justin Fields showed us what he can do the last few weeks. And he is getting very comfortable. And if he's available in your fantasy league, you might want to go pick him up because he has a very favorable second half schedule. And I think this is going to be another game to prove that he might end up as a top 10 fantasy quarterback at the end of the year. He's going against some weak defenses, and he's really taking advantage of it. 178 rushing yards last week against the Dolphins as a quarterback, second most in NFL history, only 3 behind Lamar. And honestly, I could almost see not a repeat performance, but a performance similar. And I think that's why the Bears are going to win this one.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I think Justin Fields has been absolutely balling out recently. And see, normally I might pick the Lions here in this spot, but just the way that Justin Fields has been playing and that offense, I think they're on the uprise. So I'm gonna take the Bears. They've been playing a lot better.
And then we got the Chiefs at home against the Jaguars. And this one is more on, I think, the Jaguars than the Chiefs because the Chiefs could play a mediocre game and still walk away with this W. But if you're a Jaguars fan, you got to like how Trevor Lawrence has been playing, not just, recently, but this year. He's really evolved as a quarterback. Doug Peterson has helped him out. Major upgrade in coaching. And I think that's going to pay off for the long run of his career. But they got him some weapons, took out James Robinson. And Travis Etienne has been a monster. And I think this game could be close in the first half, but I think the too much talent for the Chiefs will show in the second half.
Yeah, I think the Chiefs are going to play really good football. They're going to just control the possessions, really. I think the Chiefs are going to hold the ball a lot longer than the Jaguars are able to offensively, which means I think the Chiefs are going to end up coming away with it at the end. Third, like you said, second half, I think they're going to turn this into a little bit of a lopsided one. But the Jaguars, there is a recipe where they can beat the Chiefs, and it starts with the running game, I think. So something to watch out for. But at the end of the day, we're both going with the Chiefs.
And then we got another disagreement here. Dolphins, Browns, home in Miami. Tua starts and finishes this game, then Miami wins because they're 6-0 this year when Tua does so. And he is having a very good year. Obviously, Tyreek is on pace to set the receiving yards total with over 2,000. And, he's also a front runner for MVP, and I think that matters in this game. Denzel Ward, that secondary has been gashed at times, and I think this is just a bad matchup outside for those wide receivers and cornerbacks. So expect Tua to have another great day as long as those Dolphins wide receivers.
Yeah, I think the Browns have enough grit to keep this game close. I think that running game with Nick Chubb is going to be able to run all over the Dolphins this week. And I think I'm predicting a bit of an upset. I mean, like you said, Tua is 6-0 the Dolphins are 6-0 when Tua is starting. So they're obviously been playing very good football, but I'm just going to take the Browns because I don't think this team's too good to start off 3-6, in my opinion. I'm picking the Browns.
And then we got the Texans and Giants, and I'm surprised this line is like this. I think it would be a little higher, but, Vegas always knows. And the Texans have played some good football recently, kept the Eagles close through 3 quarters and then kind of collapsed in the fourth. But this Giants team coming out of a bye week, I believe. Yeah, out of a bye week. And Saquon looks healthy. He looks like he will have a big day. And if Daniel Jones can really get the wide receiver core healthy and consistent, then this Giants team could make a late run.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think Saquon is going to run all over the Texans defense, and they're not going to have much of a chance, especially with this Giants defense, the way that they're playing. So I agree with you. I think the line should be more of like a -7 or something like that. So I will most likely be betting on this game. Might throw it in a parlay.
And then we got your Steelers here.
Hey, you're picking the Steelers. Let's go.
I am picking the Steelers because I believe in Kenny Pickett this week. I think out of a bye, this is the most prepared he's going to be for an NFL game all year. And, we saw the Saints not get exposed, but it just felt like Lamar was at ease doing what he was doing on Monday Night Football. And the Saints, are not in a must win because that division is very weak and they're only one game behind. But it feels like a game they need to win to stay, afloat in that division. But the Steelers, this is a must win for them. And I think they will do it at home. Losing Claypool doesn't help, but it also does help Pickens really get more involved in the offense. And I think that's a major step forward for the Steelers team.
Yeah, and especially if TJ Watt plays. I mean, it is a possibility still. So if TJ Watt plays and he's going to be, if he does play, then the Steelers should definitely win this game. But yeah, the Steelers need to get back on track. And I think that they're going to do it here. It's kind of a good matchup for them, especially if off a bye with Mike Tomlin and the guys, they're going to be prepared and, they're going to be playing hard. And I think it's going to be a physical game, but I think the Steelers are going to win it. Thing to note is, though, that Chris Boswell will not be playing. So it's going to be tough for the kicking.
And then we got Broncos, Titans. Titans coming off a questionable loss in overtime. The defensive pass interference that wasn't. And then you got the Broncos coming off a bye, coming out needing a win. And I don't think they're going to get it. I think Tennessee and Derrick Henry is going to absolutely run all over that defense now that Bradley Chubb is gone. And he was, one of the deciding run stoppers on that D. But, you got Derrick Henry, who's leading the league in rushing, and I expect him to be leading with a big day.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think the Titans coming off one of the best losses of the year for them. I think that this team, somehow that they're atop of the AFC South and playing great football like they always do, but I just didn't think they'd be able to do it as well this year with all the, AJ Brown and really not many guys in free agency. But I think the Titans are going to win. Broncos just haven't played very well, and the Titans are going to run all over them, like you said.
Then moving to the 4:00 slate, we got the Colts with Jeff Saturday. Yes, that's correct. Jeff Saturday as their new interim head coach, and Josh McDaniel with the Raiders. And I think this one will come down to a coaching battle. And there will be points where Jeff Saturday, doesn't understand or, he knows football, but coaching's perspective, he's going to have to make his own decisions out there. And I think that's going to hurt him at least once or twice in this game. And I think it matters. And Josh McDaniel needs a win, even to maybe save his job, because, they thought that he would come in and instantly fix this team, lead them to a better record than last year and possibly longer in the playoffs. But simply put, that's not happening right now. But the Raiders do get this win against, two teams that, have already been written off, essentially.
All right. So, yeah, I'm going to pick the Raiders in this one as well. Just think that they have to win this game. It's a must win. And this offense has looked very explosive throughout times, especially last week in the first half. Man, they were passing them. And the Colts, I feel like, are pretty hopeless right now with the way that they've been playing. So I'm going to take the Raiders.
All right, so here we got the Rams and Cardinals and two teams in a must-win game, I feel like, for both these teams because it is a divisional game. And I'm going with the Rams solely on the fact that Cooper Kupp will have a big day. And, Stafford did get placed in concussion protocol, but I don't think it's going to be too worrisome. I think it was more of just a safety thing for him, and hopefully he plays. And if he does, then I think the Rams will win this game. And if they do find a run game in this one, and that's going to be why they win.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Rams as well. I think all the wide receivers for the Rams will have a big game, or not necessarily a big game, but Allen Robinson is going to catch a touchdown. Obviously, Cooper Kupp. And I do think the running game is going to do something here at the end of the game. I just don't think the Cardinals can play a full game. Like they show flashes in the first half, and then they end up some weird stuff happens, and then they end up losing. That Seahawks game, they did not play up to their ability, I don't think. Tough game for the Cardinals. I think the Rams will win it.
And then we got the game I'm going to, my Packers versus the Cowboys, who are coming off a bye. And, I said last week felt like a must win. And I don't think it was too much of a must win, but now it is because, the Vikings are 7-1 in the division. You're here at 3-6, along with the Bears and the Lions under you. If you want any hope to even win the division, you got to pretty much win out at this point. And if you want hope with a wild card, you're going to have to at least finish 9-8 or better. And at this point, it is a must win. I think they will get it done solely on the fact because I'm gonna be there cheering. But it's gonna be interesting to see who Rodgers is gonna trust the most now that Dobbs is out for a while. You know, Cobb, he's on the IR. Dobbs is out, he's on the IR. And it's gonna be Tonyan. I think Robert Tonyan is gonna be the guy that Rodgers trusts the most. And Samari Toon, I think that's how you say his name, has had productive outings the last 2 weeks. So expect him to have a decent game as well.
I could see those happening. I could see that happening. Tonyan, although the Cowboys are number one against the tight ends this year, which is that defense is flying around. I think that's the reason they're going to win the game. They're just going to shut Green Bay down. And I think if Zeke plays, he'll have a good game against this Packers defensive front. I hope the Packers win for your sake, man, but I think I'm going to take the Cowboys.
And then we got Sunday Night Football. Should be a good one. Chargers, 49ers. And the Niners, do hold that last spot in the NFC for the wild card. And this is a game for them, I think, where it's a prove-it game. McCaffrey fully pretty much knows the system, it feels like, at this point for the Niners. And I don't think it's going to matter, though, because I think Keenan Allen will return and have a huge impact for Herbert. He's been balling with Josh Palmer, Gerald Everett, DeAndre Carter, and Eckler, has been taking over games as well. So they're going to, less workload for Eckler, which I think would be better, more on Allen. Hopefully he plays. And I think it will be a factor. So I'm definitely going to be hammering that LAC spread.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a very close game. The Chargers just won't go away in this spot. Sunday Night Football, they always play good. Justin Herbert is going to have a big game, I think. But, man, this 49ers team is just way too good everywhere. I don't think they really have much of a weakness at all. I think their roster is just really great. And the only weakness I'd say maybe would be the QB and Jimmy Garoppolo. But the Niners at home, it's really tough to not pick them. So I'm going to take with the Niners.
And then our last game of the week, we got Monday Night Football. Obviously, I got to go with the Eagles here. It's tough to pick against an undefeated team. But I do like that plus 11 spread for the Commanders because Heineke keeps them in ball games, and it's always a close game. You saw last week against the Vikings, only lost by 3, and that was at the end of the game. Packers upset them at the time when it was a close game. And I think it's going to be a close game in this one for sure, a one-possession game when it's all said and done. And honestly, I did kind of want to swing to the Commanders' way and pick them just because I feel like the Eagles really haven't beaten the best teams this year. If you look at their schedule, 6 out of those 8 teams have a losing record right now. Nothing too shabby to be about, but I think, you got to go with the Eagles and, how dominant A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts combo has been.
Yeah, I'm with you. I almost thought about taking the Commanders as well, just because, like you said, the Eagles haven't really been battle tested too much. They've been blowing a lot of teams out, and I think this Commanders team is much better with Taylor Heineke. And that 11-point spread's a lot. I mean, I think it's going to come down to something in the second half that'll really tilt this game. I think more likely that Washington has a turnover or something where the Eagles will capitalize on and end up winning the game. So that's my pick, taking the Eagles on Monday Night Football to go 9-0.
That's going to be it for our video today. Come back next week to see how we did on this week's picks and for next week's picks, as always. But until the next time, the Bench Buddies are out.
She never called back.